What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the college basketball slate on Draftkings on Tuesday, December 15th. We've got a lot of good games here, some big ACC games, some big SEC games. Actually, no, yeah, there's an SEC game. Nope, some Big Ten games. So we got a lot to get into. But before I do, if you're new here, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. It all really helps me grow. Already 2 college basketball videos in, and we've had a lot of growth. And I was a really busy week last week, and now I'm going to be consistently making videos for college basketball pretty much for the rest of the year. And I also have finished up my spreadsheet. And if you want to get this spreadsheet with all the stats you need to know, along with projections for every single day for college basketball for the rest of the year, I'll put the link in the description below. It's only $5 a month, so $5 a month for projections for the whole season. So for every single game every single month. So be sure to check that out below as well. If you want to follow me on social media, I'll put those down there below as well. Let's get into the video, though, where we are going to start out with Scotty Barnes and MJ Walker, who play for Florida State, going up against Georgia Tech today. I have MJ Walker projected for 30 minutes and Scotty Barnes projected for 28. They're both decent point per minute producers, with Scotty Barnes being a .98 point per minute producer and MJ Walker being a .77 point per minute producer. Scotty Barnes has the highest usage rate on this team at 25.6. And MJ Walker is a 23.7. Scotty Barnes also has a really high assist rate at 39.6, where MJ Walker is kind of more of a shooter, so he's going to be more of a guy that if he gets hot, he's going to be valuable, but maybe not going to be as consistent as someone like Scotty Barnes would. This is a nice pace-up spot for Florida State going against Georgia Tech. Actually, it is the best pace-up spot on the entire slate, so Florida State does get a nice bump there. We see the total line on this game is 141, and Florida State is an implied team total of 74.9. Slight drops for them in those aspects, but that is because Georgia Tech really isn't that good. Florida State is a pretty good favorite here. So, I mean, they're in a pretty good spot for these guys. I mean, I don't think Florida State's a tough team to want to play on DraftKings because they do spread out their rotation a ton, but Scotty Barnes is someone I am always interested in because of that high assist rate, and then I am always going to, MJ Walker, I do like a decent bit today because of his salary. Next, we're going to go to the Clemson Tigers. They're playing Virginia Tech today. It's right there. They play Virginia Tech today, and the 2 guys I'm interested in Clemson are Clyde Trapp and Alamir Dawes. Clyde Trapp's $4,400, and I have him projected for 26 minutes, and that's just going to project out really well. When you get someone that cheap for projecting for 26 minutes, it's going to look good. He's not the best point per minute producer, only a .68 point per minute producer, but he does have a usage rate of 15.6, and assist rate of 17.3, and a rebound rate of 12.5, so he's kind of just there. I don't expect him, to have some massive game today, but he does project out as a pretty solid value. When we go look at this game, it's a slight pace down spot for Clemson, but nothing really too worried about. The total on this game is only 125, and Clemson has an implied team total of 63.3. They're just the lowest on the slate, and the lowest line. It's just these guys, what they do on the court, and their salary does look well. This is not a game I really want to attack. In fact, I have nobody from Virginia Tech on this entire video that I'm really interested in at all. Alamir Dawes is only $5,900. I have him projected for 30 minutes. He has a 19.8 usage percentage and 18% assist or 18 assist percentage. So I think he looks like a pretty solid play for his price. Now we're going to go to Alabama players who I really like today against Furman. Before I talk about the individual plays, this is a slight pace down spot for Alabama, but it's still a really high-paced game. I mean, these are 2 of the fastest-paced teams, honestly, in the country. When you go look at the game total, this is the highest total game on the slate at 151, and Alabama doesn't have an implied team total of 78.9, which I believe is the second highest on the slate as well. So this team just looks really good as a whole. They're playing against Furman, who is a lot better than I think people were going to give them credit for. This was a team that was really good last year. I mean, they were going to make the tournament. And they're just a good team in general, fast-paced team, good offense. So this is going to be a closer game than I think people think it's going to be. So I do want to look after this game. Herb Jones is $7,600. I have him projected for 34 minutes. He's a .97, almost a whole point per minute producer. He has a usage rate of 22.4, an assist rate of 15.3, and a rebound rate of 11.1. So I mean, him and Petty are pretty much their best players this year. They've been there. I think they're both seniors this year. They've been there for a while. Feels like I'm watching Alabama basketball for a long time now. And I mean, these are just Herb Jones just is a productive guy out there on the floor. He's not really a great scorer, but he just kind of does everything else. So I think he's a pretty solid option today. Jordan Brunner is $5,200. I have him projected for 25 minutes. This is just another guy that looks like a pretty solid value for me. He has a point per minute of .87. Only usage rate 12, assist rate 11, and rebound rate 10. He's really not that involved, but if he's going to play 25 to 30 minutes, $5,200, I think that's a pretty solid value. I would prefer just going to Clyde Trapp for, say, to $800, but if you're playing a ton of lines, I think Jordan Brunner is a pretty solid value. Jaden Shackelford is $6,600. I have him for 28 minutes. He's a .87 point per minute producer. His usage rate 24.8, and assist rate 12, and a rebound rate 9.7. This is a guy that if he just gets hot from the three-point line, it's going to be really valuable. He's pretty much your starting point guard. He plays 1 and 2 a little bit. He's a good shooter, so good scorer. So if he gets hot from the field, he's going to be a really great play. So always going to be interested in guys like that, and 6,600 isn't too much to pay for him. Javon Quinterly at 6,300, I think is probably the best play on Alabama. I have him for 29 minutes. He has the highest usage rate of any of these guys with a .85 point per minute production. An assist rate 24.1, only rebound rate 3.5, but he has a point guard, so I'm not too worried about it. He should be more expensive than Shackelford, and he should be around the same price as Petty. He's just not as big of a name as Petty and Herb Jones, so they're not going to price him up that much. But I think Javon Quinterly is probably one of the better plays on the entire slate, so I am very interested in him. John Petty on the cover, as you saw, if you know who that is, he is on the cover for this video. That's John Petty. I have him projected for 33 minutes. He was a SEC preseason first team all SEC player. He's one of the best players in the country. Great three-point shooter. That's pretty much what he's going to bring to you on the table on offense. He's a .89 point per minute producer, usage rate 20.3 and a 13.7 assist rate. If he gets really hot from the three, which he's been shooting very well this year, he's going to be a very good play at $7,000. And in a good matchup, I think he's a pretty good option here. Next, we're going to go to the UCLA players going up against Long Beach State today. This is a nice pace-up spot for UCLA. Long Beach State plays at a very fast pace. This is the second best pace-up spot on the day for any single team. This UCLA is an implied team total 84.1, and the total line on this game is 144.5. UCLA is pretty much, there's like 20-point favorite. I think it's 23-point favorites in this game. I know it's in the 20s. Pretty sure it's 23-point favorites. But, UCLA's had a few games where they've won by like in the 20s, and the starters play about 30 minutes. So I'm really not too worried about it. I kind of expect it to happen again today. So if they're going to play in the 30s, I think that's a fine play. Jules Bernard, I have him for 29 minutes. Let me go look at salaries. He's $6,000. He's only a .71 point per minute producer, only a 17.7 usage rate. This is probably the guy I'm least interested in on UCLA. Jamie Jaskes Jr. is $7,000. I have him for 30 minutes today. He's a .8 point per minute producer with a usage rate 19.6. He just looks like a solid option there as well. Chris Smith has $7,400. He's a .9 point per minute producer. This is always a guy I really like to get to on UCLA. He's a 25.2 usage rate, 14.7 assist rate, 13.6 rebound rate. This is the best player on UCLA, and at $7,400, it just kind of feels a little bit cheap to get there. Tiger Campbell is $7,300. I have him for 28 minutes. This is probably the second best player on UCLA. He's the starting point guard. The guy with the dumb-looking hair, just looks wild. I actually haven't watched UCLA this year. Maybe he cut it. I honestly have no clue. I'm going to say he probably hasn't. He's used trade 19.8 and an assist rate of 40.8. He's really not a scorer, but he is one of the best passers in the country. One of the best facilitators, point guard. I don't know, overall point guard is probably not going to do anything in the NBA, but he's a really good college point guard with a high assist rate. I definitely like getting into guys like that in a fast-paced game. I think Tiger Campbell could have a really good game. Ayo Dosunmu isn't really one of my favorite plays today, but you kind of always have to talk about him. There's just a few players in college basketball that no matter who they're playing, you have to talk about them and you have to consider them. And Ayo Dosunmu is one of those guys. He's $10,000 this week or today. I have him projected for 38 minutes. He has a 1.25 point per minute. He's a 1.25 point per minute player. He's a usage rate of 31.5, which I believe is the highest of any player on this entire slate. And the next guy is going to be the other guy that's really high. He has an assist rate 28.4 and a rebound rate of 12.9. He just pretty much does everything for his team. It is a pace-up spot for Illinois, slight pace-up spot for them. But the implied team total and the game total is just a lot lower than what we're used to seeing from them. Only a 77.8 implied team total for them and 148 game total. I do think he is a fine play. It's just he is pretty expensive now. He's $10,000. I'm not saying he doesn't. He definitely deserves that price, but I just don't think this may be the spot for him to really go for 50 again, like we saw him get 50 Draftkings points like we saw him in the last two games. So I think he's fine. I think there's better values to get to today. Then Marcus Carr is kind of the same play in the same game. He's $8,000 going against Illinois. It's going to be a slight pace down spot. So really not the spot for someone like Minnesota, and I just kind of felt like I need to get somebody from this team on here, and he's $8,000. He's a 1 point per minute producer. His usage rate of 30.5 and assist rate 39.6. So he's very productive when he's out there. So I do think he's an interesting play. Like I think him and Io DeSumo are very similar plays. I have Io DeSumo projected for more points, but I think Marcus Carr could be a better value at $8,000. So I do think these guys are interesting. I don't think a lot of people are going to play Marcus Carr. Io DeSumo, I think he's going to get ownership just because he's Io DeSumo, and I just don't expect him to just go nuts today. So he's looking more of a fade to me if you're playing a ton of tournaments, but I get it if you just want to play the best player in the country or the best player on the slate. He's a top 3 player in the country, whether you like it or not. If you want to call him the best, that's fine. But if you want to play him just because of that, I don't hate that. I don't think he's going to kill you or anything, but getting leverage in tournaments is important, and I think Io DeSumo may be someone to get off of today. Next, we're going to go with the Iowa State guys going up against Kansas State. I am not interested in anybody on Kansas State, first off, because their rotation is just ridiculous. Sometimes you have players, sometimes the starters play 30 minutes, sometimes the backups play 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to try to get that right on today's slate. I think it's just better to avoid it. I think there's good plays all over the place today. I don't feel the need to try to figure out the Kansas State rotation. Tyler Harris is $4,800. Oh, let me talk about this game first. This is going to be a pace down spot for Iowa State. Kansas State plays at a slow pace. Kansas State's bad, by the way. They lost to a D2 team the other day. Anyway, the total on this game is 137.5, and Iowa State has an implied team total of 72.3. It's solid, nothing special. These guys just all look pretty good as values. Tyler Harris, $4,800. I'm for 30 minutes. He's not the best productive player on the court, but at 30 minutes at $4,800, you don't get that a lot, so I want that. Jalen Coleman lands at $6,500. He has a 24.7 usage rate. I have him for 35 minutes. That looks solid. Javen Johnson's probably my favorite one out of all these guys. I have him for 32 minutes. He's the highest point per minute producer, or almost barely not the highest point per minute producer on Iowa State. He has a usage rate of 23.8 and an assist rate of 30. He does a lot for his team at $7,100. I think he's better than a lot of guys around the same price. Like Jamie Jaskis, I'm just looking at. I'd rather play Javen Johnson. I don't think a lot of people are going to play these guys because no one really knows a lot of people from Iowa State. So Solomon Young, $5,300. I have him for 30 minutes. The Iowa State plays a very tight rotation. They play their 5 stars a lot of minutes. So Solomon Young looks pretty good. 30 minutes, $5,300. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then Rozier Bolton's their best player, $8,200. This might be the one to get off of. He's just expensive in a pace down spot. I do have him for 39 minutes. He does have a high usage and assist rate, but I don't think that this is necessarily a spot you need to get there. I'd rather pay in the 8K range for other players. Tyson Etienne's the only guy I'm interested in on Wichita State today. He's $7,700. I have him for 34 minutes. He is a .92 point per minute producer, 26.6 usage rate, 17.9 assist rate. This can be a slight pace down spot, but nothing to worry about. Wichita State has an implied team total of 64.6, which is pretty low, and the total on the game is 132. I think he's fine. He's just a high usage guy. He's the best player in Wichita State. I don't think you need to get there today. I think there's other guys in the 7-8K range I'd rather pay up for, but he probably won't be highly owned. So, and he is Travis Etienne's brother if you know college football. So that doesn't do anything. I just felt like saying that. We got Brandon Rachel, and Ray Adawu on Tulsa going against Wichita State. I'm interested in Ray Adawu because he's $4,100 and I have him projected for 25 minutes today. He's not the best producer on the floor, but at 25 minutes, he should be able to pay that off. He has a usage rate of 16.7 and a rebound rate of 14.3 as well, so getting some rebounds could be big for him. And then Brandon Rachel is $1,600. I have him for 31 minutes. He's a usage rate of 26. This is going to be a slight pace-up spot for Tulsa. We already said the game total in this game is 132. Their implied team total is 67. So I think Rachel's a fine play. I don't really see the need to have to get there, but I don't hate it if you want to get there. We're going to go with the Long Beach State guys. So Long Beach State's best player, Isaiah Washington's out today. He's starting guard for him. So I don't really know 100% who's going to go to the minutes. Now, that could be something to look up towards lock if we're finding out who's going to be in the starting lineup, and that is the last game of the night, so that's fun. But I gave the minutes to Chance Hunter. At 5,700, that makes Chance Hunter the best value on the day for me. He's a good producer at 0.89 point per minute producer, 23.4 usage rate, and a rebound rate of 13.4. He's just a good player. It is going to be a pace down spot against UCLA, but the total's at 144.5. They just don't look bad. I don't hate it. He looks like a pretty solid value, and they're gonna get blown out, but these guys have played big minutes in blowouts. I've looked at their rotations and games they've been shut out. They have played big minutes, so I'm not really worried about him at all. I think he's fine play. And then Romel Mansell, his 4,900, I have him for 34 minutes. That's a pretty good value there. I think there's other values I'd rather get to, though, but I do think that's a solid value. And then we'll close it out with the Furman guys. We have Mike Bothwell, Noah Gurley, and Clay Mounts. These are the players for Furman I'm interested in going against Bama. We go look at this game. It's going to be a big pace spot for Furman. I mean, Alabama, like we said, always one of the fastest-paced teams in the country. This game is an implied game total of 151, and Furman has an implied team total of 73.3. It's a pretty good implied team total for them. When you go look at all three of them, I mean, they all have usage rates in the 20s. And then Mike Bothwell has an assist rate of 25.2, which is very nice as well. He's $7,400, definitely my favorite one out of all these guys. But Clay Mounts looks like a good value at $6,500 as well. I think that's really all I got to say on this college basketball slate. A lot of interesting plays. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to hit a like and a subscribe if you want to get this spreadsheet with all the projections as well. I'll put that in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys make some money tonight.